little bit differently around the whole topic of healing, so that when we listen to Sakar Murli, when we listen to the Avyakt Murli, we'll have a different lens and listen to it from a different perspective. So as Puneet said, I was in Madhaban for 13 years. I have a background in healthcare. I've worked for over 33 something years in hospitals in Australia, the UK, and India. And so this topic around healing is something that's very close to my heart. And I've run similar workshops on this one in the Philippines, in Malaysia, and in Singapore. Collectively, face-to-face, some of them with 60 BKs, where we're really exploring what does healing mean for us. And the primary purpose is so that we can listen to the Murlis with a new lens. And I think that that's the beauty of when we get together and churn and have conversations together, is that we help each other with the conversation. And initially I called this topic, it requires a community to heal. I think we ended up with collective healing, same thing. And we'll dive into that as much as we can within 60 minutes. And as some of you may know, very much my style is around facilitation, because I honor that everybody in the room has something to contribute, and everyone in the room will have some experience around healing, what it looks like, what it feels like. And when is Baba talking about healing in the Murli? And you'll have your own different viewpoints on that. So just before we do that, I could just ask you to just type in the chat box where you're coming from, what part of India, but you may also not be in India. There may be some people from all over the world, but also how many years you've been in Gyan. And that's very subjective, because I can remember Sister Janti once saying, it doesn't matter how many years I've been in Gyan, it's the number of years that Gyan has been in me. And that's the journey that we're all on. So number of years is not so important, but it also just gives me a perspective on the language that I need to be using today. So thank you. It's good to see the different places that you're coming from. Wonderful. Thank you, Pune, Surat. Lovely. So yeah, why this particular topic and healing? And as I said, I've been in healthcare for 30 years, so I have a slant in how I look at things. But also, if you think about it, I'm very clear that my sanskars around being associated with healing and healthcare is been many births. So it's just not something that's developed in this birth. It was quite a natural thing for me to talk about from very early on in my life. And so when it comes to my view is that when I'm coming into the Murli, I'm actually coming into a hospital. Because when you go into a hospital and you're seeking some type of treatment, it's not just about the surgery. And the surgeon's just not operating. You've got a pre-surgery, you've got during surgery, and you've got post-surgery. And it may not be surgery, it may be medical treatment, it may be chemotherapy, radiation therapy, surgical oncology, whatever type of aspect that you're going in for treatment for. And in hospital, they'll have this thing called barrier nursing. And so there's a whole heap of things around infection control. There's a whole heap of procedures and things that they have to do just to get you ready for surgery. And then when you're in the theatre, it's not just the surgeon. There's a whole heap of things that needed to have happened to get you on that table. You know, to the whole sterilization process of the room, the team, there needs to be anaesthetist, there needs to be a surgeon, there needs to be nurses, there needs to be a whole range of different things. There needs to be sterile instruments. And so this really is helpful for me when I'm listening to the Murli, because it's Baba is providing all of those things in each and every Murli that we speak to. All of the conditions, the pre-surgical conditions that are required for the surgery to be successful. All of the conditions that are required during surgery for the surgery to be successful. There needs to be light. Sometimes they need a microscope. Sometimes they need special glasses. Sometimes they need special instruments. And for each and every case, it's going to be different. And then post-surgery, it's not just that you have the surgery and it's over. Then there's still a whole heap of parameters that are required for you to actually heal post-surgery so that you don't get a surgical site infection. And so I'm not sure how this is sitting with you so far, because I'm used to being in a hospital, so I've got all of these terms that you may not be resonating, and I'm sure those of you with a little bit of a medical background who have ever been into a hospital will be able to relate to it a little bit. But just to give you an example is that when we're listening to the Murli, there will be aspects that Baba is talking about, that's talking about the symptoms that we need something to heal. Baba will be talking about the conditions that are required for us to heal. And Baba will be talking about the actual intervention that's required for us to heal. Yeah? And so what we're going to do in a couple of minutes, we're going to have some breakout rooms, and we're going to explore what is the language that Baba uses in the Murlis, whether it's Sakar Murli or Avyakt Murli. What are the language that Baba uses that relates to healing? Remember the three aspects. You've got the pre, you've got the during, and you've got the post. So what are the aspects of the language that Baba talks about? The pre, which are the conditions required for healing. The during, which is the actual treatment. And the post. Because when you think about it, the process of healing is not a point. It's cyclical. And there's a whole heap of dynamics associated in order for us to heal. You know, the doctor won't just say one thing. He'll say exercise, healthy diet, sunlight, positive thinking. There'll be lots of different things, and Baba is giving us lots of different examples. And just an example from today's Murli. Who has hands up or thumbs up who have read today's Murli? Because you haven't had Murli yet, have you? Is that right? Yeah, okay. Some have, some haven't. So spoiler alert here. So Baba is talking about a particular symptom today. It's a particular symptom that indicates that we need to heal. And his symptom that he uses is, he uses the word rattling. And his symbols is that the person is rattling on and complains or speaks a lot and is not being essenceful. And it's a symptom that the soul is empty. And then Baba goes on to talk about what is the healing, what is the power. And he talks about the power, the ingredient that's required to heal that rattling is the power of tolerance. So you've got a symptom, you've got an ingredient, but then you've also got a relationship. And Baba also talks about it in the Murli. He talks about the heart. Happiness filled in your heart is another part of the ingredient. And so for me, Baba wasn't saying what the relationship was, but for me, the relationship that came to me was Baba as the comforter of hearts. And so sometimes we may think of the only relationship related to healing is Baba as the surgeon. But when I had this conversation with my brothers and sisters, we came up with all types of different relationships associated with healing. And so that's going to be me stop talking for a minute, and I'm going to ask Praful to do the breakout rooms. And then we're going to come back and have a conversation. But before we do the breakout rooms, I'm going to give you a few instructions. Praful, how many people will be in each breakout room?
Around 7.
Okay, around 7. All right. So we're going to have 7 minutes. All right. So that means, no, we're going to give you 8 minutes. I'm being generous. We've got 8 minutes, which means you have 1 minute each maximum to share. And you need to be essenceful, because the thing about today's Murli, Baba was talking about going from big to small, going the long route to the short route. So the question is, what is the language that Baba uses that relates to healing? Just brainstorm it all out. You can do it randomly, but everybody has to contribute in that group. Everybody needs to be given a voice, and all of you need to, this is what the community, it takes a community to heal, is to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to speak. Then I'm going to ask one of you from each of those groups to give me the common threads that have come out of that. Yep. And that is around the language that Baba uses relates to healing. And the last one, what are the relationships that relate to healing? The 2 questions. And you're going to have 8 minutes, and then we're going to come back and we're going to have a chat about that. Does anybody need any clarification on the activity?
You feel free to raise your hand, or you can unmute yourself to speak if you have any concern about
and
the
also
question.
And also, if I'm speaking too fast or too slow, please use the, I think there is an emoticon which says, please speak slowly or something like that. But anyway, all right. So Praful, if you can do the breakout rooms.
Before, Stephen, before we go, can you
Yes.
repeat the second question?
What are the relationships with Baba that relate to healing?
Thanks.
Yeah. Cool. Let's go.
Yeah, welcome. You are on mute.
Automatic mute. I'm just going to move around between the groups.
Sure.
I was just in with Manoj. Which group was he in?
It was, I think, third, room number 3.
All right, I'm just going to go into group number 6, and you're keeping an eye on the progress. Great.
Yeah. Om Shanti, sister. So we have breakout room, and we have asked 2 questions to all our participants in breakout. And the first question was, what is the language that Baba uses for the healing? And second question was, what are the relationship with Baba with respect to healing?
What I'm finding is that the definition with respect to language, what I mean is, what are the words that Baba uses in relationship to healing? So people are thinking loving language, accepting language, etc. But what I'm also wanting to look at is things where Baba indicates what relates to what needs to be healed, a karmic account, settlement of a karmic account, removing the rust on the needle, etc.
So,
So I'm
Stephen,
just
could you broadcast this chat to everyone? We have that option. I hope you are aware.
Yeah,
If you
I'll
can
do
just
that.
rephrase the question if needed, and you can quickly broadcast.
Yeah.
If needed, we
Maybe
can increase the time a couple of minutes.
increase the time by another 2 minutes.
Sure.
By language, I mean the words used by Baba that relates to what? To all aspects of healing. All right, and I'll just go around and join a few more rooms.
Okay.
Sure. Om Shanti Ami Ben.
Om Shanti.
I got to know about your family ka thing.
Yeah.
So, आज 12th day है ना?
Yeah, 12th day it is.
Okay. So hope things are okay. Like.
Yeah, Papa is there to take care of everything.
Okay. So we are on live on YouTube. So I will not speak much on that.
Okay.
Are you planning to join the breakout rooms?
No.
No, na? ठीक है. So once everybody will be back, we can resume, and later I will talk to you.
Okay.
But yeah, take care and let me know if we can be of any help later. ठीक है?
Thank you so much for that.
Sure.
Praful?
Yes, brother.
Yeah, we just need to remind everybody that because we have international participants, and some of them are English only. So there was some people speaking in Hindi in the breakout rooms, and the person from Malaysia says she doesn't understand English. So we'll just need to clarify that.
Yeah, I'll do that on the chat as well. Yeah, I think on the chat it will be good. But if needed, you can just make a reference once they come.
Yeah, sure. And you can close the breakout rooms now. I think people are ready and ready to come
30
back.
seconds countdown and I'll close it. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Praful and Stephen, which is the healing relationship for you with Baba?
Oh, it's never any one. It's whatever is the symptom is accordingly for me, Archana. So it's quite dynamic, my whole relationship and issues going on, it depends. So it's mixing it up.
It's only me who's trying to choose which relationship, because for me also it was difficult in different situations when I was trying to respond.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, thank you. Welcome back, everyone. And I didn't get around to all of the groups, and there seemed I hadn't been quite clear in my word of what language actually means. And what I meant was the words that Baba uses in relationship to all aspects of healing, the words he uses with respect to what needs to be healed. So an example of that is Baba talks about karmic accounts. He talks about the settlement of karmic accounts, which is about healing. He talks about removing the rust on the needle. The rust is something that needs to be healed. He talks about the ointment of knowledge, the healing herb of man above. You know, so there's different language that Baba uses. That what I meant was all aspects. But anyway, let's hear from some of the groups. I think we had. We won't have time totally to hear from everybody, but what about from group number 6, which had in it Anu, Pratibha, Pashottam, Ratna, Surabh. Who's going to be Anu? Who's speaking from your group? You're on.
Pratibha said she would, but yeah.
Pratibha?
Yes. In our group, we got many points. Language of unconditional love and acceptance that helps us to heal. And relationship, basically everyone told father, mother, and friend. And also Baba used very elevated words, powerful words, and beautiful somans that also helps us to heal. And whenever we remember honestly to Baba, so and Baba accept us that if we make any mistake, then also Baba says that you are my child. So that also really helps us to heal. And one sister told for her healing point is drama point, that Baba says nothing new. Everything is predestined. So that is also one of the point. But basically everyone told that unconditional love, language of love. That is the main point we got.
Great, thank you. What about from group number 4, where we have Reshma, Sukumaran, Kosha, Vimish. Kosha Ben, good morning.
Good morning. So there weren't too many people participating in our group, but there were a few. And some of the main points that came out was, so we focused on the healing words that Baba uses. And some of the words in the discussion went around swamans. So how Baba gives us a swaman for self-respect and to raise our self-esteem, which is healing for us. Baba provides us unconditional love, which is healing to us. Some of the words that I felt Baba uses is, of course, he's a surgeon, so he fixes whatever needs healing. Also, the Deha Abhiman, so Dehi Abhiman, so becoming soul conscious ka injection, Baba says a lot of times. So we remembered that point. Also, Baba says he washes away our sins. So we took that as healing. And some of the other things were that Baba is a companion to us. He is our father. He loves us, accepts us unconditionally the way we are. So that unconditional acceptance really acts as a healing, thing for us. And yes, the knowledge of drama that he gives us, that everyone plays a role according to what they're supposed to. And when we understand it from that perspective, we don't get upset. Baba says, stay set on your seat, don't get upset. So when we understand that everyone's just playing their roles, we don't get hurt, and that leads to healing as well. So the discussions were around those points.
Thank you. And then another relationship could be Baba as the laundryman in terms of washing. Yeah?
We actually did discuss that, the washing away our sins.
Okay, lovely, lovely.
Thank you.
What about group number 3? Anshu, Lata, Renu, Chandra, Manoj, Suman. Who's going to speak from that group?
Okay, so that's our group. Thank you. So they all forced me to do it. So unfortunately, I have to do it. So the language which they said, all of us, we decided on one thing, that pre, post, pre, during, and the post. So before the surgery, I think it is a lot of tolerance which we need to have. Today's Murli is Sahanshilta, tolerance for the pain which we have before surgery, and love coming from the Supreme Surgeon. That's the relationship we also discussed. During the treatment, I need to have full faith, trust, and fully surrender to the surgeon, maybe to the Lokik surgeon as well, and even to the Supreme Surgeon, that whatever will happen, the outcome will be the best. And post, I have to be very positive, which Baba says, here the knowledge of drama comes, that whatever happens, everything is kalyankari, beneficial or benevolent in the drama, all is well and all will be well. The relationships, Kalpesh Bhai and many others felt about Gyan Surya, that the Baba is the the knowledge of sun, and he's giving us those true rays which are really healing us. And you came briefly and mentioned about karmic accounts, but other relationships which people shared here was that he's my beloved, he's my lover, and he's also my father. And along with that, we have a very beautiful sharing from Anshu's sister. She said that we need to have this language of assurance of healing. We need that assurance from Baba, and then we get full love and respite in whatever happens. And she also mentioned about drishti, particularly about you, that Stephen Bhai also came and gave us drishti right at the start of the session. You were the one who was first in our group. So that way. So this was the sharing.
Thank you very much. And we'll have another breakout room soon, and so we'll get those groups that haven't shared this time, they'll get an opportunity to share next time. But yeah, just want you to reflect on what was the power of the collective there. There was lots of lovely thoughts that I hadn't thought of and hadn't come up in my conversations. And that's the power of us having this churning, and then we add to each other's way. And the whole purpose of this is so that we start to listen to the Murli with a different lens. And when we do that, we pick up things that we hadn't picked up before that relate to healing. And so I love some of the words and some of the relationships that you picked up. So I appreciate that. And Shanti has also, and you can type in others that you think of, has put in feeling the pulse. is another language that Baba uses. So you will come up with a whole list of languages that Baba uses, particular points that you use with respect to healing, and particular relationships where Baba heals us in those situations. Because as you're coming in, Archana asked me, Sister Archana asked me the question, which is your favorite relationship with respect to healing with Baba? And it's very much dependent upon the symptoms that are emerging at that point in time. Determines what's the point of knowledge and determines what's the relationship. So what I'm going to ask us to do now is, we'll stay in those groups, is what are the symptoms that indicate we have something left inside of us to heal? Yep, simple things, the things that come up on a day-to-day basis, the things that come up in our relationships, the things that come up in our workplace, the things that come up in our families. What are the feelings? What are the thoughts? What are the actions that demonstrate I've still got something left to heal, that I've got a sand scar that's yet to be transformed? I have a karmic account in front of me that I haven't settled. What are the symptoms that indicate that you've got something left to heal? You can also talk about what it means, but it's really the awareness that we're trying to get here is to increase our awareness, our blind spots around what are the symptoms that indicate that I've got something to heal. Is everybody clear on the question? And I'll type it in the broadcast message and send it out to everybody as well. Yes, Kalpesh, you have a question?
Indicates means your happiness. Indicates when you lost your happiness. It indicates. When you ask, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
What are the symptoms? So
symptoms.
That one symptom is you lost
Kalpesh,
your
I think,
happiness.
Yeah, Kalpesh, I think you need to discuss that in the breakout room.
No, it's a good point though, Praful. I'll give a few more examples because I think what Praful is wanting is some examples. Yeah. So another example is frustration, irritation, intolerance, anything that happens in terms of sarcasm. If you're being sarcastic towards somebody, it's a symptom that you've got something left to heal. Confusion. These are all symptoms that indicate the symptom that you were giving there, Kalpesh, was unhappiness. Dr. Usher has got symptoms of loneliness, sadness, fear, anxiety. So we're just going to have irritation, jealousy, etc. So we're going to have a quick 6-minute conversation in your groups. And again, if you haven't spoken, have the courage, speak up, take yourself off mute and speak and share within your group. Now, this time I'm going to need a different spokesperson. So it can't go back to Manoj, you can't go back to Anu. You've got to, in your group, find a new spokesperson. Okay, so we're going to give you 6 months to just really brainstorm what are the symptoms that indicate I've got something to heal. Okay? Praful, over to you. And breakout rooms, thank you. Marhaba.
Yeah,
Puneet,
yeah,
how's it going? All right?
yeah, it's going good. So just like, our meeting is being recorded and going live. So it's like only main room can be going on live.
Hmm.
So just I play the music so that it can
Sure.
be watched later on.
Praful, everything?
Perfect, perfect.
Okay.
In
good.
fact, this was even an eye-opener to me. I never looked Baba's Murli in such a way. So
Hmm.
many points would emerge just with the healing thing.
And we're only scratching the surface. And we've only got an hour to speak on this. This is easily 3 to 4 hours.
Definitely.
In a group, when I get everybody doing on this, there's huge shifts occur. We're not going to get a chance to answer all of the questions. Why do we post healing? How do we heal? What is this piece around community and healing? So I'm just going to ad lib for the next 20 minutes, come back, see how we're going, and then I'll think what's the next best question. But I won't do any more breakout rooms. We'll do everything in the group.
Sure. As,
Yeah?
as you feel fine. Yeah.
Okay. How are we going there for minutes left there? 3 minutes. All right.
We have 20. We can extend for 5 minutes. Should be fine. Like,
Yeah, no worries. I might
Yeah.
go to group number 2 because I haven't been there yet.
sure.
Okay. Puneet, bye.
Yes, brother.
Does it automatically send out
Yeah.
a warning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So one of the things that I had, Praful,
Yep.
was doing a spreadsheet, and the first one had symptom. The next one had ingredient or treatment. And then the next column had relationship. If you were to work it, yeah, you can close the rooms now, Puneet.
Should
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like symptom, treatment, and then relationship.
Okay. So I'll just jot down the points as you speak. Do you want me to share like this sheet while the sharing is done, or towards the end?
No, that's okay, because we probably won't go into that, but that's something that could be part 2 of this conversation.
Sure, sure.
for them to do a spreadsheet to give them to when they're listening to the Murli is what is the symptom, what's the treatment, and what's the relationship.
Okay.
Wow, thank you. Welcome back. I trust you're enjoying the conversation and it's really starting to percolate and refreshen your lens around healing. And so we're going to hear from group number 1. And group number 1, Ami, Nilima, Sushma, Kamala, Kartika, Raki, Sweta. So who's going to speak from your group?
Om Shanti. So the various aspects that came up with respect to what are those things that still tells us that we are yet to heal. These are the factors like being fearful, jealous, hatred, judging people negatively, frustration, loneliness, self-doubt, being uncomfortable with people around us, the sense of being left out. These are the various things that came up while discussion.
Right, thank you. Thank you. What about from group number 5? We had Dipesh, Archana, Vinod, Asha, Shift, Neha, Sujata, Rati, Swapna. So who's going to be speaking from that group? And also when you're speaking, just don't repeat any of the symptoms that were said by the previous group. So who's the spokesperson for that group?
Shanti, I'll go ahead as I was sort of facilitating the group. So I've compiled the points. So the symptoms that came up within our group were around confusion, around being too much attached, and forgetfulness of Baba. So some people spoke about the root causes as well as the symptoms. Some spoke only about the root cause. So, so that's how the group went about, that the symptoms were mainly coming from body consciousness, coming too much into expression and not going within to look for the answers or to see where the solution lies inside of me.
Any other specifics that anybody else from that group of actual symptoms that you emerged? So confusion, attachment, forgetfulness, anything else?
Yeah.
Thanks,
So
Archana.
expression, a lot of expression, like when things are not according to you, then, coming in a lot of expression, saying it more than one time, or, texting a lot or speaking a lot on that topic.
Speaking a lot, okay. And thank you, Archana and Swapna, saying experiencing obstacles and effort, not being satisfied with your own efforts, tiredness experienced in day-to-day tasks, churning on past incidents, losing connection. Okay, great. Thank you. And route number 2, we had Aruna, Hima, Jagdish, Harpreet, JC, Namita, Priyanka, Sanjay. So who's from that group is going to share with the jewels that you identified?
I am Sister Hima from Madhuban.
Yes, Hima.
And I would like to share rest. All of my colleagues, they shared that they feel disturbed and unstable. Doubts come up and feel insulted. We keep blaming others. And a low self-esteem, and we need to settle karmic accounts. And some other points are our concentration power reduces. We feel as if we are in prison, not free, and absence of full happiness in confluence age. and we cannot maintain any relationship with Baba. And due to all these things, we keep facing repeated papers, and we keep failing because of our low sthiti, we can say, and that we can describe as repeated spiritual heart attacks.
Okay, great. And look, you know, I've got a list now that is a page long. It doesn't take long to get a list of our symptoms. And what I've done on my sheet of paper is that I've got on one column, I've got symptoms. The next column, I've got what's the treatment. And the next column I've got is what is the relationship. So this is a way in which you can do your churning and directly from the Murli. Think about these and write down some of the treatments that Baba talks, and then which symptom does that particular treatment align to, and then what is the relationship that comes to that. I really appreciate, you know, the thoughtfulness that has gone into that. And my points here is that around collective healing, that often I'm not going to come up with all of the ideas on the churnings on my own. It's a trigger that comes from somebody else that helps me think about something in myself today. And for the next 10 minutes, we're just going to stay in this group and just have a general conversation. And how many of you heard something today that triggered something with you and said, ah, yes, either it was a symptom or either it was a relationship that you hadn't thought about that could connect those two symptoms together? What was something new that emerged from you today? And then anybody can just pop their hand up and then we can have a free chat. Particularly those people who haven't spoken yet would be awesome.
Would you please repeat the question, Stephen?
Yes, what newness has come up for you today? As in somebody said something and you went, it was a trigger for you. Yes, I can relate to that point. Or I hadn't thought of it, like Praful might like to speak, because he said to me, you've said some things that has given me a different way of thinking about this. Thinking about healing, thinking about the healing words that Baba uses. So generally, what newness has come up for you today?
Couple of times. Once when you shared that that's not just one relationship, and I felt, oh yes, that's how it is with me also. Otherwise, I was stuck to my own confusion of which relationship is most healing, and then I chose mother, and I wasn't quite satisfied. And then when you shared your answer, then it sort of brought everything inside of me, that how in different situations, different relationships have been healing with me too. And the other time when Kosha Ben shared the washer of sins, and then I never realized that, oh yeah, even that statement is quite healing. Many times we do mistakes, small mistakes that are not according to where Baba sees us. But then when this statement comes, Baba is also washer of sins, absorber of sins, that becomes healing. Yeah, we have time and we can, fix it.
Thanks, Archana. Anshu, you've raised your hand?
Yeah.
Can I say?
Yeah, one line I'll say. When you asked, Manoj Bhai was asking what relationships and how you can correlate with your treatment. Immediately I felt innocent child Baba in my arms. He's touching me, cuddling and giving me kisses and embracing me with that innocent feeling. Instantly I felt that energy of healing. That's what I experienced today new. Om Shanti.
Thank you. Thank you. So somebody else was wanting to speak.
Yeah, yes. Can I say something?
Yes, of course, Shakti.
Somebody, the last person said that feeling of not being free, as if you're in prison, that was something new. That idea had never come to me, So that was the newness, which some people would feel that they are in a bondage, too much in a bondage and all. So we require to be free.
Yeah, sure. And then the questions that follow on is that if I'm feeling a sense of bondage, what's the treatment? What's the relationship? So for each and every one of those symptoms, we've got 2 questions to ask ourselves now. What's the treatment, as in the point of knowledge? And what's the relationship? Thanks, Rati. Anybody else? Any newness that has emerged from you? Vinod, thank you. Lovely to hear from you. Please.
Om Shanti, brother.
Yes.
Reading Avyakt Murlis, most of the times we'll get the answers.
Okay, so that's your newness from today. By reading the Avyakt Murlis, you'll get your answers. Yep. But we listen to the Sakar Murlis every day. And there's answers in the Sakar Murlis too, of course, isn't there?
Om Shanti, brother. This is Priyanka.
Yes, Priyanka.
Sometimes one of our sister, Harpreet's sister, she shared about feeling of disturbance. Sometimes it could be very small, a small feeling, which we often becomes unnoticed, and that also needs healing. Was something new for me today.
Okay, thank
Occasional
you.
disturbances. Yeah.
Sure. We've got Vinod who's been waiting patiently over in the side there. Vinod, please take yourself off mute.
Thank you, brother Shanti.
Yes, Vinod.
You know, in the current era, we are all connecting to the world with on an online platform. So a few days back, we were on an online discussion series and in the aerospace medicine field, and there were international friends around. So I was thinking of sharing our experiences, and I was able to relate to them in the language medium. I mean, you know, that I was more fascinated towards how the other countrymen spoke and the way they are pronouncing and stuff. And today in the discussion, I happened to mention in my group that I have texted to my friends and they have not been replying, and I'm too much following why have not they replied. So sister did mention a word, body consciousness. You see, I could understand that. I mean, just behind this thing, I had another experience yesterday with another friend. He was able to relate to me very simply to my feelings. I mean, he was able to relate to the simplicity of the content of my speech. So I understood that I need not be related towards a particular language or its pronunciation or the person itself. So it could boil down to all to simplicity, and Baba could probably give me the treatment or the relationship in the form of a friend. So that is the simplest thing. So introversion, introspection, and simplicity could be the treatment, and probably the best relationship that I could associate with Baba is that he's my best friend. And if I can build more on that, and that would deepen my relationship than from the local people. Thank you, Baba.
Thank you, Vinod. And before we go to Sweta and Harpreet, I think because we all have different sanskars, and for me is that because of my background and the things that I'm involved in, I needed to find a language that I could relate to. And the word healing is a much softer language to me than settle your karmic accounts. And so that's why I've devised this whole way of interpreting the words so that they're things that I can really resonate with. And that's just our role, is using Baba's words and connecting them with words that we resonate with. So Sweta, thank you, Vinod. Sweta?
Om Shanti. All the time we used to listen like for sweet children, meete bache. I used to feel very happy that time. I don't know the reason. Now today I got to know, like that word itself, it gives so much acceptance, so much love. Like, yeah, that itself, it says us like, I'm there for you and I'm there to accept you. Like I could see that when Rakhi Ben said that meete bache. So I never saw in that perspective. That gave me so much like, yes, mind blowing. Yeah, this is the reason why I used to feel happy all the time, because that word, it contains so much love, happiness, so acceptance. Thank you.
And Harpreet.
Om Shanti, brother. So for me, the real essence I felt Baba is talking through you when you started this session saying it is collective healing. So when the newness for me was the word collective healing, and I could connect the Baba's instruments, all of us together, because just in the month of May, 2nd May onwards, I got this feeling that I should do this universal prayers. And it was with the same intent, Baba's intent of collective healing. And when we do this meditation every day in the morning for 30 minutes, the first sentence we say is, we are here together to heal ourselves and heal the world. And I feel the newness in Baba's message through you and this topic itself, collective healing. I feel it's so connected to what Baba is wanting all of us to do. So thank you for this energy and for the collective work which we can all do to increase the vibrations in the universe and really feel that we are one in this entire energy field and connected to the almighty power. You know, that is what is collective energies enhance that. And it's very important to do things collectively besides the individual. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Preet. And that's a really good point to be ended on. And I think that there's lots of other lovely comments that are in the chat box that you can go through. And that's the whole piece, is around this, it takes a community to heal. And that's the piece that we really haven't discussed a great deal, but that is another hours long workshop. But something just to leave you with is that the atmosphere that we're creating, whether it's at home, is helping others heal. The atmosphere that we're creating in the center is creating attractive atmosphere for people to come. The atmosphere that, because a lot of our work, the majority of our work these days is done online, that we're subtly touching people. In Australia, there's a group of BKs that meet twice a week at a particular time. And they have half an hour of silence, and they have people who are going through physical conditions or ailments, and they're sending healing vibrations, and we've had some miraculous recoveries as a result of that. So the purpose of today's workshop was really just to open up your thinking around the subject of healing. And I'm sure that if we were to come back in a month's time, as a result of this conversation, and now listening to the Sakar Murlis, now listening to the Avyakt Murlis, you'll be picking up every day new ways of seeing healing and how it relates to you. So I just thought that what we would do in the last 1 or 2 minutes is, if everybody, if we go into gallery view, and if everybody could turn on their videos. And let's just have a meditation. Is that okay, Praful? 1 or 2 minute meditation.
Sure, sure.
And thank you everybody for your time this morning. So lovely to be with you all, and have lots of fun with your further churning. And if you want to reach out to me for further conversation, Praful will be able to give you my contact details, or Manoj Bhai. So let's just have a few moments and just sit in the point, feel healing. You're sitting within a context, you're sitting in a house, you're sitting with other humans, you're sitting in a community, a housing community, a neighborhood, and there's lots of energies going on. But your energy is reaching out without you even thinking. It's touching your chair. And just allow that energy, your loveful energy, your peaceful energy, just to permeate through your house. It's not, you're not sending it anywhere, it's just going to where it needs to go. Just allow yourself to go into the word healing. What does it feel like? Just allow it. I am healing. And just feel Baba in your favorite relationship. Maybe it's the comforter of hearts. Just feel Baba's big heart is there and there's a door. You're opening up the door and you're stepping into the comforter of hearts. And you're closing the door. You're just sitting deeply in the heart. Absorb the vibrations of the comforter of hearts. Feel the subtle, effortless healing that's going to the places you didn't know you needed to heal. It's going to the places you didn't know it needed to heal. And it's going out to those souls who you don't know who need to heal. Let it go. Flow. So hold on to these healing vibrations as you go about and interact with the world today, with your family, and find some new ways to think about healing that you've never thought about healing like before. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, brother. It's very lovely to hear you. And when collective thoughts are being generated for the good of humanity, it really impacts a lot. So thank you so much for joining with us. And we have prepared a nice journal for you all. So, after this session, we will be circulating this, and you can write what symptoms could be, treatment and relations. So followed by, you can churn more on this topic. And, if you have any concern or doubt, you can reach out to us. Thank you. Prabhupada.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen Bhai. It was indeed pleasure having you with us. And I'm sure all of us got a very new perspective of understanding Baba's Murli, especially from the healing aspect. So we are indeed taking a lot from today's workshop. And having said this, I'll take the liberty of inviting you more often here, maybe once in 2 months or whenever you are free, so that we can learn more from you and we can take this discussion ahead. So really thank you to you for sparing time with all of us. And I see many new people joining today. So just for your information, we meet every day from 5:30 to 6:15 India time. And we study Baba's Avyakt Murli, daily one Murli. We study that for 30 minutes and 15 minutes we have churning, discussions around the Murli, how we imbibe those points in our daily lives. And we have such kind of discussion. And on each of the Sundays, we have a buffer day, holiday day, not holiday from the meeting, but holiday to have some creative churning like we did today. So all those who are not really part, I invite you all to join us daily. We are at present reading 1994 Murlis. We started from 1969. We have reached up to 1994, and probably in a year, we plan to complete until 2017. So welcome to all new souls from tomorrow and all the ones who are existing. On behalf of everyone, I would once again like to thank Stephen Bhai. Have a great Sunday. Om Shanti.
जीवन